One of the most important parts of your purchase with Powertrain products is going to be your core return. That means returning your old unit to us. And the process is slightly different based on what product you purchase from us. And we do have our core return policy and instructions posted in a lot of different locations. We email them to you. They are listed on your invoice. They are posted on our website. However, we completely understand that the process can be a little bit confusing. So this video is going to be a very detailed instructional video on how to get your core returned to us. So just to start off, what is a core? A core is your old unit. So that means if you have purchased an engine from us, your core is your old engine. If you have purchased a transfer case from us, your core is your old transfer case. It's also important to note that we will never ask you to return something that we did not send you. So if you purchase a bare long block from us that did not include oiled hand, timing cover, valve covers, harmonic balancer, we aren't asking you to send those parts back to us. We don't want those parts back. In fact, if you do accidentally send something back to us that you end up needing later on, we cannot get that back to you. So to keep it very simple, when you pop open the crate that day of delivery, the only things we want back with your core return are the things that are inside of that crate. At the time of your purchase, you are presented with two options. You can either waive the core for 15 days or you can pay your core up front. The more popular option is the 15-day core waive option. What this means is that you have 15 days from the date of delivery. That means the date that you receive your new unit. You have 15 days from that day to get your core on its way back to us. If we do not hear from you within that 15-day time frame and you have not requested a pickup online, we will charge you for your core amount. If you have been charged for a core charge, you are more than welcome to send your core back at any point within 6 months of the delivery date, and we will provide a refund in full for that core amount. The second option is to pay the core up front. This means you're going to pay that amount in full the day of your purchase. This is for people who know that their core is too damaged to be rebuilt, or maybe they do not have a core, or sometimes people want to keep their cores. So you would, in that case, pay your core up front. This is also a really good option for people who don't plan on doing their install right away. Rather than waiving it for 15 days and being charged after 15 days, you can just pay it at the time of your purchase if you know it's going to take you a long time to complete the install. And then if at any point within 6 months of your delivery, you do decide you want to return it, you are more than welcome to return it, and we will provide a refund in full. If you have chosen the 15-day core waive option, then at the bottom of your invoice, you will see our wording that states the core needs to be assembled, undamaged, drained, and in its original crate in order for it to be picked up. So essentially, the unit needs to be assembled enough so that it can ship. Do not throw lifters and pistons into the crate and expect the carrier to transport that. There will be a charge when it gets back to the warehouse if it is not at least assembled enough to ship properly. You don't have to torque everything to spec, but it does need to be able to be strapped down and shipped. Now, a lot of people have questions about the undamaged portion of this verbiage. So what this means, what we are looking for in a core is a rebuildable core. That is what we use to rebuild the engine or transfer case or transmission for the next person. So if you have a transfer case that the drive shaft blew a hole in, or if you threw a rod through your block, that is not a rebuildable core. That means that you likely will have to pay some type of a core charge up front. This is something you need to discuss in depth with your salesperson at the time of the purchase. If you weren't aware of the damage until after, you removed the unit, we totally understand that. As soon as you become aware of the damage, give us a call. We would be happy to provide whether it is a partial charge or a full charge. It all depends on what your unit looks like. We do completely understand that you are not replacing something unless it's broken. So we aren't expecting everything to be in working order. Essentially, what we are saying here is that if there are holes or cracks in the engine block itself or in the transfer case itself, then you likely will not get full credit for the core upon its return. Once you are ready for your core pickup, you are going to request a pickup online. You are going to go to powertrainproducts.net, and I will pop up what this process looks like. In whatever browser you are using, you are going to type in powertrainproducts.net. Now, at the top of our website, you'll see a menu, and you are going to click on the Core Returns tab. This is the form that you need to fill out to let us know that your core is ready. The first thing that you are going to do is select which product you are returning from this list. You will then type in your name as seen on your invoice. This means if you purchase for a shop, you will put the shop name there. If your wife purchased with her card, you will put your wife's name there. You'll then type in your invoice number, your email address, which you want to match the email address that you've been using with us for this whole process, and your phone number. Now, this is going to ask you if this is a warranty-related pickup. If this is just a core, then the answer is no. And then you're going to put your pickup address. So if it is located at a shop, you will put the name of the shop there, as well as the address of the shop, or if it's at a friend's house, wherever it needs to be picked up from, you will put that address in these boxes here. And then last but not least, you're going to put the phone number of the person who is arranging for the pickup. So again, if it's a shop, you want to put the shop's phone number here. If it is your friend's house, you'd want to use your friend's phone number here. You can put hours, and then of course you would always want to select yes for a lift gate, select confirm, and then submit your request form. You will then be brought to this confirmation page, and you will also get a confirmation email that states that we have your request. Okay, so what I just showed you is the website version that you're probably accessing from a computer. Just as a heads up, if you are using your cell phone and you are using our mobile site to request your core pickup, the menu does look a little bit different. And in order to get to the core return tab, you're still going to go to powertrainproducts.net, but you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom where you will find the core return option all the way at the bottom. The form and everything else is still the same. Once you have submitted this request form, you will get an auto email that basically says, thank you for submitting for your core return. And one of two things will now happen. We have two ways that we pick up cores. We either pick them up via freight or LTL, or we pick them up via UPS and FedEx. Usually it matches the way it was delivered. So if FedEx brought your unit, then FedEx is going to pick up your unit. If a freight carrier brought your unit, then a freight carrier is going to pick up your unit. And the process that you will go through to return is slightly different for each. So I'm going to start with freight LTL shipments. This is going to be engines, automatic transmissions, rear axle assemblies, and most manual transmissions. So what this email says is that we do have your pickup request, and within the next 2 business days, you will receive what is called a BOL, or a bill of lading. A bill of lading is essentially a shipping label that you give an LTL freight carrier, right? Things that are over a certain weight have to go via freight carrier, and the BOL is how they are shipped. So within the next 2 business days, you will receive a BOL from us. A BOL looks like this. When you receive your BOL, the first thing you want to do is confirm that the part number and the serial number on this document match the part number and the serial number on your crate. We are not responsible for units that get mixed up while they are being picked up because the wrong BOL was handed to the carrier. If you return the wrong unit, unfortunately, financially, that is on you. This is why we ask you to confirm part number and serial number. The second thing you want to pay attention to is you're going to, somewhere on this document, you are going to find the name of the freight carrier. So if you have a specific date or a specific time or questions about when they will be coming to pick this up, this is who you will call to get that information. A lot of times you can throw that carrier name right into Google and a local terminal phone number will come up and you can speak with them directly about scheduling your pickup if the pickup date on the documents does not work for you. Now, it is really important to note that as of late, industry-wide, almost all carriers are charging a $100 missed pickup fee. That means that if your entire auto shop is out to lunch when the carrier comes to pick up and you miss it, you are responsible for paying $100 so that we can reschedule it. So I recommend that everyone reach out to their carrier to confirm pickup date and time to ensure that someone is there when they come to pick up your core. When you do receive the email with the BOL, the other thing that this states is that you will want to print 2 copies of this paperwork. One of those copies you will hand to the driver with the unit you are returning. The second copy is for you. And the freight carrier will most likely put a sticker on the top right-hand corner of your copy of the paperwork, and this is what contains your tracking number. You do have to ask them for the tracking number sometimes, but you definitely want to get that. That is how you prove to us that your core is on its way back. This is actually the only way we can confirm that the core is in transit back to our facility. So it is very important that you get that tracking number. Once you have that, you can call us with it. You can take a picture of it and send us the tracking number via email, or you can just type the tracking number in to your email. Any way you want to send it to us, we will be happy to receive it. But this is how we can confirm that your core is actually in transit. Now, the second type of pickup is going to be a FedEx or a UPS pickup. If you have a cylinder head, UPS will come by to pick up the cylinder head. If you have a transfer case or a smaller manual transmission, most likely FedEx will be coming to pick it up. Now, depending on where your unit was shipped from, your unit may actually contain the label for return. So when you get your unit, check and see if you have a packet like this in the crate. You should always be looking at any paperwork that comes inside the crate. But some of our facilities have started to include FedEx return labels with the paperwork. And if that is the case with your unit, then it'll look exactly like this. You'll have your yellow invoice, and stapled to that invoice will be a FedEx label. You can either call FedEx to schedule this pickup, or you can take your unit to a FedEx location and simply just drop it off. Now, if your unit did not come with this label, that's okay. Some of them don't. What will happen after you submit your request and you get that confirmation email that says, yes, we've received your request for core pickup, you're going to want to keep an eye on your email for an email from FedEx. The email will not come from us. Again, the email will come from FedEx. That email that you receive from FedEx has the rest of your instructions, whether you choose to schedule a pickup or whether you choose to take it to a FedEx drop-off location is completely up to you. Again, we will need the tracking number and we will need confirmation that this unit is in transit after they pick up or after you drop off. Now, once your core has been picked up and you have sent us that tracking number, your core return process is complete. Once the unit has been delivered back to our facility, it will be inspected. Sometimes this inspection process can take a little while. If you were someone who was charged a core and you are awaiting a refund, it can sometimes take up to 2 to 3 weeks to process a core. So if at any point you have any questions about this process, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. If you have questions specifically about your pickup date or time, you will need to reach out to the carrier though. Unfortunately, we do not have that information. I hope that this video helps with the core return process. If you have got any questions, send us an email, leave us a comment, or give us a call.